Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Elder Needs Show. I'm Jason Neufeld. I'm the managing attorney with Elder Needs Law. And as an elder law attorney, what I'm always trying to do is give you access to resources that you didn't realize you had access to, and to educate you about what's available out there so that you can make sure that you or your loved one is leading the highest quality of life possible as we age. And so with that in mind, I am thrilled to have Becky Dieter with us today. Becky is a senior placement advisor with Oasis Senior Advisors. And Becky's going to talk a lot about what she does, but essentially can help you or your loved one find the best senior living facility, and she does it absolutely free. So when we talk about resources, these are things that are not going to cost you a dime. You get to benefit from the education, the experience of somebody else to, again, help you or your family member make the best decision. So with that, Becky, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Great. Thank you, Jason. So like Jason said, I'm with Oasis Senior Advisor South Florida. We are a national company. I work with the South Florida franchise that services Palm Beach County and Broward. And so what we do is help people find the best senior living. So if you think of us like a realtor for senior living, we're a free service and we help families navigate what is the best senior living option for my loved one. Is it independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, and help them navigate that, set up tours for them, go on tours with them, and follow through the whole process to help guide them.
Yeah, excellent. So that I think that I love that analogy. You're like a realtor for senior living facilities. Let's start with something very, very basic. There's a spectrum. I think a lot of people don't want to be in a facility in the first place. They want to be at home, but at some point in time, that's not going to be practical for some people. And so now they have to think about the different senior residential settings. Can you please walk us through from independent living to assisted living to memory care to skilled nursing? Talk us a little bit about what that path looks like. What's the difference between these facilities?
Sure. So independent living differs a little bit. There's a lot of 55 plus communities in Florida. So a question arises, what's the difference between 55 plus, independent living, independent versus assisted? So in independent living, people live independently in their own apartment from a studio up to a 2-bedroom. They receive 2 meals a day, housekeeping once a week, their utilities are included, transportation's included. And really, we find that's appropriate when taking care of the home becomes too much for someone, or a spouse has passed away and they're alone and socially isolated. In independent living, you have activities, you're going to meals with people, so it really helps with that social isolation.
Right.
People do need some assistance. They can bring in outside help, or some of the independent living communities do have home health on site that can help when people need some scheduled care.
Okay.
Now, moving to assisted living is when it becomes difficult to schedule the care. So maybe somebody has a Parkinson's or a condition that there are good days and bad days. So it becomes difficult to figure out when to schedule home care to come in. Or they may be a fall risk or have things that it's helpful to have that 24-hour care available. Right. So what that means in assisted living is they'll provide assistance with what are called, you'll hear the term ADLs. What does that mean? Activities of daily living, bathing, dressing, transferring, toileting. All of those are services that assisted living can provide, in addition to medication management. And depending on the licensing level of the assisted living, they can also provide some higher level medical care if they have that higher level license and they have a 24-hour nurse. So for example, diabetes, they can help with some wound care. It just depends on the level of license of the facility. And they'll develop a care plan for that person, come in the morning, help them get up, showered, provide their medication, get them to breakfast, and have a care plan during the day.
Mhm.
And then if somebody needs assistance, they can push a button and a caregiver will come and assist them.
Okay.
So memory care, just because someone has a diagnosis of a cognitive challenge, such as an Alzheimer's or other form of dementia, does not mean that person has to go to a secured memory care environment. And that's really important.
Mhm.
Memory care is really when folks, maybe a wanderer or an elopement risk. They're going to walk out the door and get lost outside.
Mhm. Mhm.
Obviously, we want them in a secured environment. Or sometimes develop some of the behaviors, the sundowning, obsessive loops, communication styles that just are a better fit in memory care, and also may be better to have staff that are trained in how to deal with those types of challenges.
Sure.
So that's when we're really looking at a secured environment versus assisted living. There are many people with cognitive challenges, diagnoses that live in assisted living and never end up in memory care.
Mhm.
So we're really going to look for some of those red flags before we automatically go to memory care.
Right. Okay. And so so I know we're at memory care now, but real quick, I think what's on a lot of people's mind is, what does this stuff cost? From independent, I know there's a wide range. Can you give us an idea, starting with independent, comparing independent to assisted living to memory care? What typical costs you see in your geographic area?
Okay. And like you said, it's going to vary on
Yeah.
size of apartment, location, all of that kind of thing.
Certainly.
So with independent living, you're going to have generally one cost, and this is for month-to-month rentals.
Mhm.
You're going to have one cost that will cover your rent and everything.
Okay.
Depending on size of the unit, you can be from $2,700 up to $5,000 if you want to go fancy and size, 2 bedrooms, that kind of thing.
Sure.
When you get into assisted living, you're looking at 2 costs.
Mhm.
One is your rent,
Mhm.
and then one is your care costs. The
Mhm.
community will do an assessment to determine your level of care and your care plan, and that will be your care costs. Some of them also charge a separate medication management.
Right.
So there you're talking over, $3,000, $3,500, going up more towards $4,000.
Sure.
Adding in your care costs. So you're looking at $4,000 to $6,000 with your
Right.
care costs, in give or take. Again, there's
Got it.
low
Yep.
ends of the spectrum.
Makes sense.
When you're talking memory care, you're usually talking $5,000 to $6,500.
Right.
It is more expensive.
Sure.
I will say, though, for assisted living and memory care, one thing that can assist with the costs is there are shared suites.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's shared in the same room. Sometimes a shared suite can actually mean 2 separate bedrooms that
Okay.
share a living room area. So there are options for folks that sometimes can help bring the price down.
That's great. And I imagine as part of your service, this is the type of thing that you're talking to the families about, saying, hey, what are you, A, let's talk about a budget, and B, let's talk about what type of socialization are you or your loved one comfortable with? Or would they be interested in saving some money and having either a roommate or a housemate, not necessarily someone in their room? And these are really important things that I think are overwhelming to someone who doesn't know the business like you do. The other thing I wanted to mention is this is a little bit where your world and my world collide. So, I work with a lot of different people who are interested in assisted living facility, and they're overwhelmed with the cost involved. And that's part of what I do, is I work with people who don't yet qualify for Medicaid because they have too much by way of income or assets, and I can help them legally and ethically protect their assets and set aside some of that money and get Medicaid to pay for a significant portion of that ALF bill if the assisted living facility accepts Medicaid. I always like to say, as part of their licensing, they don't have to accept Medicaid if they don't want to. So when I refer a client to someone like you, which I do on occasion, is I say, listen, This is a client who doesn't have Medicaid yet, but we're going in that direction. So make sure you only introduce some of the facilities that accept Medicaid so that they can take advantage of the cost savings over and above beyond what you're able to provide to them. So just wanted to throw that in there because I think it's an important part of the educational component. So, okay, so we have the independent living, we talked about assisted living, and I may have cut you off at memory care, but we were talking about the costs involved, and in memory care, the higher end, we're looking at more like the 65, maybe $5,000 to $6,500 range.
Right.
Go ahead.
And one other thing I want to mention on cost, Jason, I'm glad you brought up the Medicaid is,
Yep.
There's also VA benefits, aid and attendance that may be available to veterans and their spouses.
That's right.
Additionally, long-term care insurance can be utilized to pay for this.
Yep.
Many people think that Medicare will pay for this, and it does not.
You are 100% correct. Big misconception. Yep. Yeah, people go, I have the best Medicare supplement on the market, so I'm all set. And I frequently have to be the bearer of bad news and say, no, Medicare that's great. You can see any doctor you want and your prescriptions may be covered, but they're not paying for that assisted living facility care.
Correct.
Medicaid, on the other hand, will pay for a portion of it.
Correct. And long-term care insurance will pay for assisted living and memory care.
That's right.
It's not going to pay your rent for independent living.
Right.
It may pay for if you have a home health aid or something coming in,
right.
But your long-term care insurance is for care. So it's not going to pay independent living, but it can pay a substantial portion, if not all, of assisted and memory care.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But, just want to say, clear up that Medicare isn't going to pay for it.
You got it.
One other thing on cost is that each place will have a one-time, what they call community fee that can range anywhere from $1,500 up to $4,500. That's just a one-time fee.
Okay, very good.
The other thing I want to talk about is skilled nursing. Because again, that's where people get confused. A doctor may say somebody's in rehab and a doctor may say, okay, they need to go where they have 24-hour care. And people think that means a nursing home,
right,
or skilled nursing facility. And these days, skilled nursing facilities are really for folks with really high care needs.
Right.
They're bed bound. They have IVs. Real high care needs. And the other thing is skilled nursing doesn't provide one-on-one care. And that's another misconception that people have is, well, I don't want to go to assisted living. I'll go to skilled nursing because I'll have one-on-one care.
Right.
And that's just not the case.
And I think another problem, I don't know if you went into this too, is people use nursing home as like this overall umbrella term, like everything is a nursing home. And I'd say, no. And nursing homes have a bad connotation to them, sometimes founded, sometimes unfounded. But I always tell people, look, there are assisted living facilities are not nursing homes. Those are different concepts entirely. And there are assisted living facilities that anyone would love to move into that are beautiful and that provide wonderful services and activities and the transportation and they're lovely places to be in and they're safe places to be in, which is of course what really is at the root of what we're looking for here. So yeah, we see the same thing.
Absolutely. A lot of people have that skilled nursing image in their head because that's where their parents or their grandparents were. And so that's what they think of with senior living. Yeah. So that's why it's important for us to get the family and the senior out to tour so that they can see these places. And to your point, there are many times we're touring with adult children who go, when can I move in?
Right.
Because it is so nice and provides so much activities and lectures and great things coming in that we just have to help change that image that people have in their minds. And that's part of what we do in our role is help people with that.
So, I also want to clarify, because I work with people all over the state of Florida. You mentioned that you focus on Broward and Palm Beach, but if they need help outside of your geographic area, you can still assist them, right?
Absolutely. We have franchises all over the country. So whether it's another part of Florida, Chicago, California, we have Oasis franchises there that work the same way we do. We're a very tight company and we all work the same way, and we can refer people New York, wherever. We have Oasis franchisees. So that's the real beauty of working with us.
Becky, if someone wants to get in touch with you directly to talk about their residential needs or the residential needs of their aging loved one, what's the best phone number for you?
The best phone number is 303-981-2815.
How about an email address?
And that is bdieter@youroasisadvisor.com.
And we're going to put all that information in the show notes so people can email you and reach out to you directly. Becky, thank you very much for sharing your experience, helping educate people who I know are going to be watching this video. And thank you. I've had some good personal experiences with you. So I like working with people that I know in the community, that I know are committed to providing excellent customer service. And I know that you hold yourself to a high standard. So thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for the difference that you're making in the lives of our South Florida senior citizens. And it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Jason. Pleasure being with you too.